بسم الله والحمد لله مسلعا على محمد وآله ومن تلا أما بعد. As we come tonight, inshallah ta'ala, we want to mention to you a brief benefit that we're trying to establish, inshallah ta'ala, within the upcoming months that we have, inshallah ta'ala, of establishing Islamic community. So we want to present some benefit, inshallah ta'ala, so that this is something that we can look forward to, of establishing an identity, an Islamic identity within our community as we move forward, inshallah ta'ala. Because this is important. This is important for us as a community, for us living in this society, for the community at large, and mainly for our family members, the brothers and the sisters, the new shahadas, and the likes, inshallah ta'ala. So we want to present that which we mentioned, that which we had wrote down as a benefit. So I mentioned, as we move forward with the goal in mind, is of establishing an Islamic community. The goal in mind is to establish an Islamic community. There can be no community. There can be no community without brotherhood and cooperation. Separation, it causes division within and disunites the hearts of the believer. A community that is, that its foundation is based on the fear of Allah Azza wa Jalla and obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A community. Naam. Excuse me for the interruption. But naam. So, a community that its foundation is built on the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and obedience to Allah ta'ala. A community who stays away from Allah's prohibitions. A community who gives importance on the akhlaq, on the character and the manners of the Muslim. Because this is important. Not to merely just have a community, but a community that focuses on the interior, on the inner self of the Muslim. Focusing on the akhlaq, the character, the adab. And so if we want to build an Islamic community, we must be upon that which Allah is pleased with. And we must help and assist one another. And to be allies of each other. To be allies of each other. Naam ya ayyuhan nas. To be allies of one another. This is important. And also, my brothers in Islam, al-bir, righteousness, is spending for the sake of Allah. Spending the best of one's wealth to maintain the community. Likewise, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, by no means you will not attain al-bir hatta tunfiqu mimma tuhibbun. You will not, by no means you will not attain bir unless you spend of that which you love. Spending of that which you love. Spending to maintain the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Spending to maintain the masajid, the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if an individual wants to establish a community, then this should be his priority, inshallah ta'ala. And likewise, to establish an Islamic community, loyalty is a must. Loyalty is a must. That we should have towards each other, or express, in expressing kindness and compassion towards each other, as Allah Ta'ala, He tells us, and the Quran was translated to mean, as the believing men and believing women are allies of one another. They enjoin the ma'ruf, they enjoin that which is right, and forbid what is munkar, what is wrong, and they establish the prayer. And they give the charity and obeying Allah, and they obey Allah and His Messenger. Allah will have mercy upon them, For Allah is mighty and wise. In Surah Al-Tawbah, Naam ya ayyuhan nas. And likewise, to establish an Islamic community that's built on love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's built on love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You're not loving the person because he has a car, or the person he has money, or the person has any kind of worldly possession. As it comes in the hadith of Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu, reported that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, none of you will taste the sweetness of faith until he loves a person only for the sake of Allah, and until he would rather be thrown into the fire than to return to disbelief, and until Allah and his messenger are more beloved to him than anything else. So this is the love that the person should have for each other, that the love is genuine, that the love, it is authentic, that it is real. وَكَذَلِكَ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ. So if we want our communities to be successful, we must look at how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam structured his community. And establishing leaders from amongst his companions. The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam investigated them carefully and appointed the best nation, or he appointed the best matches. He appointed the best matches as brothers. For instance, there was an exact harmony between Salman al-Farisi and Abu Darda, Amr and Hudayfa, Mus'ab and Abu Ayyub. They had harmony between them in terms of character, likes and feelings. So the Islamic community, it comprises of brothers and sisters, family members and elders from amongst us who are wise in knowledge in terms of experiences. And some knows the outcome of situations that took place in the past. So we value them and respect them, and we seek their assistance. So this is, some of the things that I wrote in regards to establishing a community. But there must be cooperation and brotherhood amongst each other. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu reported, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, whoever would be pleased to taste the sweetness of faith, halawatul iman, then let him فَلْيُحِبُّ مَرْعَى لَا يُحِبُّ إِلَى اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. Then let him love a person only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَكَذَلِكَ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسِ. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, whoever intends to achieve the reality of faith, فَلْيُحِبُّ مَرْعَى لَا يُحِبُّ إِلَّا فِي اللَّهِ. Then let him love a person only for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And likewise, Ya ayyuhan nas, Abu Darda radiallahu anhu reported the message of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He said, مَا مِن رَجُلَيْنِ تَحَابَّ فِي اللَّهِ. Said no two men love each other for the sake of Allah behind their backs, but that the most beloved of them to Allah has the strongest love for his companion. So this is what needs to be established within the Islamic community as we move forward. As we move forward, inshallah ta'ala, that it is coming within a few months ahead of us, that we are looking to establish a community of brotherhood and sisterhood and love from amongst us and cooperation. But this needs to be established. As it is mentioned, Al-Munawi, rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentions the strongest love for his companion. أشدهم حب لصاحبه أي في الله تعالى, meaning for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and no other worldly purpose. He affirms love among the rights that are obligatory and a bond of fellowship. The criteria of it is that he treats him as he would love to be treated. He treats him as he would love to be treated by him. For whoever does not love for his brother what he loves for himself, then his brotherhood that he claims is hypocrisy, and it will be against him in the world, in this world, and in the hereafter. Naam ya ayyuhan nas. Abdullah ibn Amr reported the Messenger of Allah alayhi salatu wasalam. He said, the best companion to Allah is the best to his companions. The best companion to Allah is the best to his companions, and the best neighbor to Allah is the best to his neighbor. Allahu Akbar. And as we close, inshallah, tabaraka wa ta'ala, a man set out to visit his brother from another town. So Allah sent an angel to watch over his steps. When the angel came to him, he said, where are you going? The man said, I am visiting a brother of mine in this town. So the angel said, do you have a favor over him to be repaid? He said, no, only that I love him for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So the angel said, I am a messenger from Allah to tell you that Allah loves you as you love him. So visiting your brothers and your sisters for the sake of Allah, this is ajr azim. This is the greatest of rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that will make Allah love you. So this is what we are trying to establish within our community as we approach the time that we will be moving in, inshallah ta'ala. And this is what we want to end with, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallam tasliman qatira.